Hi, I kept meaning to make this video all day long, and I just, one thing after another. But it's evening. I'm hungry, so I'm going to get this over with pretty quickly this time and finally get this video made. When I was in seminary, I worked for a lady who had a business in Mill Valley. Those of you who are familiar with the old campus, Golden Gate Baptist Theological Seminary campus, it was located up in the San Francisco area. One of the people who worked for this same lady was a guy named Ed, and he and I only worked 10 hours a week, and he made deliveries occasionally and that sort of thing, so we didn't see each other a whole lot, but maybe about once a week or every other week, something like that. We always enjoyed our time together. Ed was fascinated by everything, and we talked about philosophy, we talked about languages, we talked about travel. He was a very interesting guy. So I enjoyed my friendship with Ed. In fact, one time I told Ed he didn't go to church at all, and because I had been in church all my life, I invited him to come to church with me so that he could debrief and tell me, what is it like for someone coming to church? What's the experience like? Because I didn't know what it was like to come to a Baptist church for the first time. Ed very willingly did that. He was gracious, and we had a great conversation afterwards. Enlightening, helped me understand better if we want to make church a place that feels welcoming to people without any background. These are some of the things we need to pay attention to. So, but after seminary, we exchanged email time or two, not very frequently, and then last year, my boss, the lady who had employed me, she died, and as a part of, I guess, dealing with that, I sent an email to Ed asking if he knew or if he had been able to go to the funeral or that sort of thing, and we kind of reestablished contact. Well, about a week ago, before I made the trip to South Carolina for my aunt's funeral, Ed called me up, and he started off with a Latin phrase. He said, let's see if you know what this means. I can't remember the phrase exactly, but I think it was something like this: Vux serve Dei in oscuro audire, which I'm not sure I got all those words right, but the phrase means, in times of confusion, listen to the voice of the servants of God. And that's why Ed had called me. He had, at one point in his life, he had gone to Europe, one-way ticket. He had gone to Africa. He wound up teaching English for a while in Europe. He returned to California, and things had gone downhill. He had a very good friend who became ill, and Ed was depressed. He lost his job. He lost his car. He lost a place to live. He was living on the streets. He got arrested for vagrancy. It was so hard for me to hear about what had happened to Ed. And the reason he had called me is because I had said to him in an email that I prayed for him. Ed asked me, he said, I don't know what to do about the fact that I feel like I'm bad. And I said, do you mean you feel like you're damaged? He said, no, I feel like I'm sinful, and I don't know what to do about it. Well, as you can imagine, Ed and I had a pretty long talk, about an hour and a half on the phone. His phone kept cutting out, and it was really challenging, but I sent him an email afterwards, and he has replied to that, and I sent him another kind of long email. I'm trying to do what I can to help Ed see that while he feels like he's really in the bottom of the pit, that what it actually means is he's on the verge, he's on the doorstep to finding out what it truly means to be free, to be freed from the burden of the weight of sin, to be free to relate to God. He's been a lonely person, and particularly now that his very good friend is she's about to die. She's in hospice care. He doesn't know what to do. I really I have remorse that I didn't say more to Ed when we were able to be face to face, that I didn't press the point. We talked about issues. I asked him one time, we were talking about the fragile nature of life, and I asked him about what did he think about for what happened to a person after death, and he said, I don't think about that. I don't like to think about that. And maybe he wouldn't have listened. Maybe he wouldn't wanted to hear back then. But I want to urge you to remember that there are people all around you who don't know what to do about their lives. They don't know what to do about feeling bad, like they're bad people. And you can help them. Don't lose any opportunity. If you have a friend that you're thinking, man, I wonder if that person's a believer or not, address the issue. Don't let time go by and then have regrets later on. I'm teaching a couple of face-to-face classes right now. I told that situation about Ed to both of my classes. One of my students came up afterwards and she thanked me. She said she was in a similar situation. She had a friend that was struggling and she didn't know how personal to get with the friend. But my talking about it encouraged her to do something, to take action. Jesus, as reported in the Gospels, looked out at the fields and he saw not grain but people, and told his disciples, the fields they're ready to be harvested. Where are the harvesters? Where are the harvesters? I hope that you and I will be faithful harvesters. Grace and peace as you continue this semester. Be looking for the harvest.